Hello, I'm Jack McCoy, Jack Wayne McCoy, singer songwriter, currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm originally from Washington State. Bass player, tone singer, and means I got kind of that low range thing going for me. And I've auditioned before for AGT, both in person and last two times strictly by video this way, which is this kind of works better for me. But anyway, I've done a variety of things in terms of auditioning because I am a trained singer. I can pretty much do anything, and I've tried a variety of things when I've done these auditions. And I've done everything from Western ballads to opera music, which is kind of like Bocelli kind of music. And I work as a singing gondolier, and we do a lot of we do some opera music, we do some um, opera, some opera, and some just Neapolitan songs. And but my own interest in writing have varied a lot. And this is the one thing I haven't done when I ever submitted these audition tapes is I've never done anything that I've written. And I'm going to do that this time primarily because well, it's relevant. I mean, years ago I was studying, more or less preparing to be a Johnny Cash tribute singer. And at the Imperial Palace at the time, they had dealer tailors. And so you could go up and do a set of what it is you're impersonating, and then you would go down and deal some blackjack. And I thought that would be an interesting skill set to ask to add to what it is I do. And so I fully was in preparation mode for doing this, and I knew a friend who did Rebo over there. But anyway, while I was doing this, in the preparation for doing this, I was read Johnny Cash's uh, autobiography and was just kind of investigating a little deeper into the thing. And it was just around the time when a lot of these mass shootings started happening. And at the time, it just kind of occurred to me, I kind of really was seeing Johnny Cash as a writer. In his day, he really addressed a lot of things that were going on. And he would address things that other people sometimes were maybe afraid to do, but he had the courage to do it, put things into songs. And I was just kind of thinking, gee, what would Johnny Cash, what would he have to say about some of the things that are going on relative to these kind of horrific events? And anyway, it's kind of like when I did that, I just kind of went to sleep one day, and then I woke up, and a couple of songs were just. There's more to the story, but there's a couple of songs that were just very present, and I made an effort to write them down. And I'm going to include a link that actually includes one of the songs I'm not going to do here, called Ghost Dogs Are Called to Arms. And that one specifically is addressed to people just to kind of watch out for other people. If you have the ability to do so, just kind of hide yourself in plain view, but just keep a keen eye out. And when you see something going down, since you're not really, you're just blending in with the crowd, you may be in a position to help other people. And that's what that song is about. It's kind of like just kind of being the alert. It's Ghost Dogs Are Called to Arms. Anyway, follow the links to listen to the rest of that song. This song is a bit more chilling. Actually, this song really addresses looks right into the face of people contemplating doing the shooting. There's that moment where they're kind of, contemplating these things, and things are going on in their head. Who knows what's all happening. But this song is like basically a last ditch effort to kind of look them in the eye and realizing that there's more consequence to your actions than just what meets the eye. And this song is called On the Other Side. And basically, that's what it addresses is that when, you're considering doing these things, maybe you should consider the fact that whatever you do, you're going to have to face the consequences on the other side. Don't let life steal your humanity. If you're hurt, struggling with your sanity, reach out to others because I know how our life can be on the other side. If you think there is no truth, so it doesn't matter what you do, there'll be a surprise waiting for you on the other side. Cause no matter if you act alone or you're part of a murderous clan, you don't get to kill unarmed people and still call yourself a man. And despite all your efforts, united we all stand. Because when things are at their worst, that's when we're at our best. Something you just don't understand. So if you're thinking about killing for a misguided cause, or you find it thrilling, you're going to find it a mind chilling on the other side. There'll be no virgins waiting, no fame or glory for the taking, because you'll be judged by all you're taking on the other side. Because no matter if you act alone or you're part of a murderous clan, you don't get to kill unarmed people and still call yourself a man. And despite all your efforts, united we still stand. Because when things are at their worst, that's when we're at our best. Something you just don't understand. We're all soul, equal in God's eyes, made in His image, children of light. Sorry, I didn't know doesn't fly on the other side. So don't let life steal your humanity. If you're hurt, struggling with your sanity, reach out to others, because I know hard life can be on the other side. Sing the hue, because no hard life can be on the other side. So anyway, I did a trilogy of songs um, called In the Spirit of Johnny Cash. And I have a website called Singerman USA, and there are a variety of pages on that. And one of them is In the Spirit of Johnny Cash. And I put these songs there, the song Ghost Dogs A Call to Arms, and this song on the other side. But I thought I would do this, as a part of my intro and talk to you, and so you got to get an idea, you know, what that is about. And this song to me is the most like Johnny Cash in that kind of more of his style, more of his, deepness of his voice and the way he addresses things and speaks to, people in the song. And so, anyway, there's so many things even going on this week that I was contemplating doing this thing, and all these things started happening, and I realized, maybe this really needs to be heard. Maybe if nothing else, I just get on the show and I do this song, or I do the Ghost Dog song, and get that message out. And so I'm putting that to you. Vocally, that's not a great display of what it is I do or can do or anything like that. But there's a message to this. And, being in Vegas and all, this really hit home. I had written this song even before that whole horrible event happened in that terrible October. I was just getting off work and I saw the headlines on about active shooter in Vegas. And I'm going, what the heck? I'm in Vegas. I'm driving home. I hadn't heard anything about this. just a little south where the outside gondola ride was going on is where this was happening. And that really put a shudder to this town, just like, happen here can kind of happen anywhere. And it's still to this day the worst of all those shootings in terms of numbers of people who were injured and killed. And and when I kind of contemplated what Johnny Cash do, it's just kind of like, what can I do? Like everybody contemplates what we should do. Oh, that's horrible, blah, blah, blah. We should control guns, that kind of thing. To me, it was just important to focus on the message itself. It's like, I'm not understanding the politics of the situation. It is like, what can I do as a singer songwriter to do something? If any little thing I do even save one life, then obviously that's something that was worth it, particularly to that person. And maybe there's that one person that was contemplating doing this stuff, and that song's out there, and he hears it, and like, maybe it just kind of wakes him up for a minute, or he seeks counseling or whatever. I mean, that is, it's at least it's an effort trying to do something. And the other song too is just there are out people kind of out there who just kind of do keep an eye out, and ex police and all this kind of thing, and so it's kind of like realizing, like the knights of old, we're kind of like we're lone wolves and things like this. But if we realize we're all out there as a kind of collective lone wolf effort, trying to keep an eye out for people, this is kind of like a bringing to attention of that sort of thing. And also, part what that's about is intimidation, and that the Ghost Dog song is like that. There's people out there who are, blending in with the crowd, and they have the ability to take me out or, stop what I'm doing or anything like that. It might just give them pause, it might just give them pause to think like, there's these are things they haven't calculated and they can't calculate because you can't identify these people. And also the other song is like, addressing the person who's really putting his head down, really trying to get into this whole thing, that, looking at, maybe there's another side to this whole thing because, in terms of reality, sometimes we only tend to look at one side and, well, this is the other side. And anyway, there's other things I could do, vocally, whatnot, and the other thing. And actually, some of these things are on my channel. If you go to my website, it's connected to, I have a couple of YouTube channels, and two of which are, well, one of which, particularly song related, is called Singerman USA, YouTube Singerman USA 5751. And there is a whole variety of things posted there. I do songs, like basically it's a class in um, people who are interested in singing. There's a variety of techniques offered. There's a variety of interviews with other people. I've interviewed a Grammy nominated opera singer. I had a national karaoke champion on that channel. And I try to approach people from different angles who have come into the music, singing specifically, and, basically how they got their start, the kind of training they had, and, the experiences they use, that kind of thing. Well, these things are on that channel, but there's also a variety of songs that I've recorded that are on that channel. And this will be posted to that channel. Matter of fact, it's going to be on Singerman USA. And so when your link, goes to there, that's what you're going to see. And there are, like I said, there's other things you can flip through and find if you look around. There'll be a host of other things, like I said, some of these interviews and things like that. But you'll find me singing a variety of songs. So I could, sing on other songs here, and I could for you, but I've taken up a lot of your time just doing this segment and talking about what is the most important I would like to share. And so, anyway, if you find this all meaningful, and like I said, for nothing else, just to have me on the show to deliver this message, like yeah, here's a guy that was in Vegas, and all these things were going down, and he just decided, what, though I want to, if there's something I could do in song, in the spirit of Johnny Cash, and that little story I told you. So I hope you have find this message meaningful, and I appreciate the time you've taken to listen, and all my information as far as links and contacts and stuff will be in my profile. So thank you very much, and thank you for your consideration.